respect for self and dignity and understanding. Sister Clara grounded him in study, to know what you're talking about. And Betty was just clearly his wonderful counterpart that was willing to go along with Malcolm, realizing his mission. It's not easy for the wife of these types of people, for what we call the Hemet Nesut Waret, the feminine Pharaoh, the woman who sits beside the Pharaoh on the throne. It's not easy, because they not only have to, see, there are statues in Kamene where you'll notice that the sister is sitting next to the man and she's got her arm around him. You see? Now, under white supremacy, you might view that as one thing, like adoration of the woman to the man. But actually what that is, it is the woman keeping the man on the throne. Because remember, our set symbol is the throne. It is the feminine principle that gives the male principle the right to rule. That's why many times, although it's never been said, although a man sat on the throne for the most part, it was the elder women that elected the Pharaoh to sit there. Because it went through the matrilineal line. I have a sister. If my sister had a son, I have a son. If something should happen to me as Pharaoh, my son does not become the Pharaoh. My sister's son becomes the Pharaoh. Mama's baby, daddy's baby. Okay, DNA changed all that. The idea that you can trace lineage through mitochondria DNA proves that they understood this principle. There are other statues where you will see the man standing and you'll see the woman, a shorter version of the woman, underneath him with her arms around his knees. Under the disease of white supremacy, you might think that the man is tall and the woman is short. No. You can take as big a man as you want, but if you wanted to bring that man down, all you have to do is hit him behind his knees. That is the Kemetic version of the woman telling the man, I got your back. This is what the Nation of Islam had. Remember the steak and takes? Remember all those restaurants and the fact that they would go get their food from the farms, their own farms, and their own schools of fish, the fish sandwiches. To do for self. This was the Garvey concept. This was Elijah Muhammad's concept. This is what he brought to us as a people. We have that concept all around us, brothers and sisters. What are we doing? The vendors are do for self. See, now we're on another level because now we have the DVDs. We didn't have the DVDs before. We didn't even have the video cassettes before. But now we do. This is another means of making money. We used to have to wear the clothes that they made. Now we have Welcome to Farad Court. Now we have the other institutions that are making shirts and clothing that reflect our history. If you talk about how you want to decorate your home, look to the posters that we have here that we can frame and put up in our homes. If you want to spend your money wisely, this is where you spend your money wisely. Jewelry. We all here trying to get that gold and all that silver, but that means nothing as it relates to what the family in the back has, as it relates to the Azazel, Islam. Okay? Spend our money with our people. This is what Malcolm was talking about, and this is why it was so important. When I was speaking with Brother King, I was asking him, will the vendors be there? Because a lot of what I got to say reflect a lot on the vendors. Business, we must do business, we must do good business. I ain't gonna go around with Chinese people. eating Chinese food. Chinese people don't have to apply for scholarships. Black folk are their scholarships. We spend so much money in their stores, they don't have to worry about applying for scholarship. We are their scholarship. And the whole time they're killing us with that MSG and all that old chemical. And now they got these restaurants where they don't have no table and chair to sit. They telling you, I want your money, goodbye. Don't want to serve you, goodbye. I've been to Chinatowns all around the country. I never saw a soul food restaurant in a Chinese restaurant. They ain't got nothing against black folk. They don't eat our food. You saw it in Hidden Colors too when Claude Anderson was dropped when the black folk went into D.C. in the beauty parlor and say, I will give you a 20% discount on what it is that you buy in here. And they say, we're buying from other Koreans. They say, well, we'll give you 20% discount right now for anything you buy. They say, no, thank you. Because the one thing you black folk don't understand, it's not about the money. We spend our money with our people. We don't buy from you.
Don't they understand that?
I don't think so. We got to work at that system. That is fundamentally us breaking out of this mentality. And see, I love us, so I understand. I'm not holding nothing against us. I love us, I respect us. But we must. And we have to build on it. We have to start that. We have to begin that. We have to forgive ourselves our transgressions. We have to purify ourselves of the pain that we feel within us. And we have to move to the point where once you get over it, and if Daddy wasn't home, okay, you got to forgive Daddy. Not because you forgive Daddy, but you must forgive yourself and have mercy on you.
Yes.
You can't keep carrying this pain inside of you. You got to let it go. In order for you to move on and do what you got to go, you got to forgive those who have transgressed against you. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve it. And I think that what Malcolm and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was developing in us is a sense of this. You know, to come out of this. Brothers, we all need to have one session. Black men, big black men, small black men. We need to get together, go into a room, ladies, you're not allowed in this. Not that we don't want you, but brothers, we need to have one big cry. I'm talking about that ugly in the face, boo-hoo cry for all the pain that we have carried as men in white supremacist America. We need to cry, because if we cried, we would not come home and hurt our children. We would not come home and hurt our wives. We would not come home and hurt each other because we're carrying this hurt that we've had to go through all day with this white man in our face speaking to us so disrespectfully, yet we're afraid to tell him that, so we come home and take it out on other people. We have to tell our young people what Gil Scott-Heron said in Message to the Messenger. We have to say, we're sorry that you can't handle it out there. But somehow or other, we have to come together and work this out. Yes. Putting a gun up against your brother's head ain't gonna work. Killing each other, making somebody take their clothes off and spray them with water and beat them because their daddy owed you $20. That ain't making it. But we have to face this, and we have to cry. And the other thing is, it's called Syndoche. S-Y-N-D-O-C-H-E. It means when you take the collective responsibility for what your people are doing. Have you ever seen something happen? You say, well, I hope he's not black. Okay? Whatever he did, we didn't do it. Why are we taking responsibility? We should not have to take that. White folk don't take it. Okay, every white folk ain't accountable, like Jeffrey Dahmer. The white folk collectively accepted responsibility for what they did. Everybody didn't throw those canisters into that movie house in Aurora and shoot them people up. They're not taking, in fact, not only don't they take credit for it, they trying to figure out what happened to him. What happened to him? He's an animal, that's what happened to him. But you see, when black folk do it, oh, well, what do you expect? It's supposed to happen there. It's not supposed to happen here. But if they think that's something, that ain't nothing but a Boy Scout cookout compared to what's about to hit their neighborhoods now. It's happening rapidly as we see this. These folk are going buck wild. And while everyone's talking about controlling the gun, oh no, let them buy. Let them keep buying the gun. Black Panther can put days away because they're going to shoot each other. Because they're going to become so frustrated that the racial war ain't coming, they're going to have to practice on somebody, so they're going to know. Look at what's going around. Don't take my word for it. Just look at what's going around us. Look what's happening in the communities all around the world. Yes, okay, we go to the movies, right? Brother in the movie is talking to the screen. We ever have to talk to the screen. There's another brother paid $12 for this movie. You tell him, brother, be quiet. I came to see the movie, not hear you. Brother, keep talking. He said, look, I told you, brother, be quiet. Brother, keep talking. He said, brother, man, I'm not going to tell you again. You need to stop talking. Brother turned around and said, oh yeah? Stop talking? Let me tell you something. I've seen this movie already. The butler did it. Oh, the brother did walk off. Takes out a gun and shoots him. Okay, that's not premeditated. Had that guy not talked to the screen, that guy would have walked out the movie house alive. Had that guy stopped talking when that brother warned him, he would walk out the movie house alive. That's not premeditated. That man did not go to the movie expecting to kill somebody. He came to the movie to see a movie. However, when you set a neighborhood on fire on Christmas Eve, and when the fire department comes and put the fire out, you start to kill the firemen, that is premeditated. You planned that. See, we can always tell when black folk are committing these crimes because we have our MO, we have a modus operandi. You can always tell when black folk do something. Okay, drive-bys, I can understand them. Okay, I don't agree with them, but I understand them. You mess with my people, I'm gonna mess with you. That's a drive-by. That's not premeditated, because had you not messed with them, you would still be alive. Go to movies, get robbed. Go to the chicken store, get robbed. Yes, we do. Initiations into social organizations, yes, we do that. But we do not walk into a movie house and throw canisters in and then shoot people and talk about, I'm the Joker. We don't do that. Because when he dyed his hair red, I would have suspected him from the moment he bought the ticket. And then when he stepped out and dressed in all that garb, I said, I'm sorry, you stepped out, you can't get back in. This is how white supremacy thinks. That's a mental disorder. It's mental. See, black folk don't have a problem. White folk have a problem. Black folk problem is white folk problem. White folk problem is white supremacy. They either are guilty by omission or by commission. Every white person carries privilege. And when I explain this to my European American students, I say, if you and I were to go to Madison Avenue and I want to go into a jewelry store, if I were to press that button, chances are they might not let me in. And if you don't believe me, that's open. Because they haven't opened in France. Okay, they told her as another black woman, she went to one of these high Siddiqui stores, they wouldn't let her in. Then they tried to give her a ticket after they found out who she was. She said, well, you already told me something. But anyway, and not to mention what happened to our brother the other day down there in that Milano deli. Forrest Whitaker, he go in there to get himself something, and they gonna pat him there. Okay. Now he's an Academy Award winner, not that that means anything, but he's not just anybody as it relates to someone visually knowing who he should be. No more than Oprah, but when they see you, they don't see who you are, they see your color. And I try to explain this to European people, but they don't get it because they have never had to go through this. So they have no idea what it's like to see flashy there might even be a fire truck. I said, oh damn, I got a ticket. Because black people, we guilty just because we black. This is what America has said. You see, this is what Malcolm's message was. This is what he was attempting to get folk to understand. He also said something about knowledge and wisdom. He said something about history. He said something about what we should know. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the times that Malcolm lived in. We're going to talk about a couple of other things. But I do want to re-stress to you, brothers and sisters, as it relates to the vendors, let them go home with lighter material than what they came with. Instead of having all those pans of food, let them go home with no pans of food inside. Don't take the pan, but take the food. The books that are here, the vendors that are here, which leads me to let you know that I brought some DVDs with me on the Shabaka stone and cosmology, the Dogon, the Moors, spirituality. We have to understand spirituality. The energy of spirituality, African spirituality. But even in light of that, just let me focus on the vendors, brothers and sisters, because I think that the greatest thing that we can do to emulate what Malcolm, Marcus, and Elijah is telling us is to allow the vendors to continue the work that they're doing. The events that Brother King Simon gives continue to come to them. The other speakers that may have programs, Brother Shabazz, who has programs in Brooklyn, the programs around, support them, come to them. Because the future holds that if we get this piece together, it doesn't take a lot of people to really need to be done. See, we like numbers. We don't care numbers. I've given presentations where there's 2 people in the room, one is the next speaker. So you know how many people I'm talking to. I've spoken to 200, and I end up by the evening wishing that 198 never showed. So I still have my 2. It's the quality of mine that comes, and not the quantity of people. W.E.B. Du Bois is looking for the talented 10th. I'm looking for the conscious 3. I believe that out of 100 people, there are 3 conscious. Not everybody ready for this. Not everybody ready to handle this. I'm happy with 3. Now let's say there's 30 million of us. There's a whole bunch more. But let's just say there's 30 million of us. 3% of 30 million, by my math, is 90,000. That's a good number. If I could find 90,000 conscious people, such as yourself, ready to break and make this move, if we could unite the money of 90,000 people under one conscious understanding, if we could make our vendors rise in the business that they do, in all the business, whether you're a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer, whether you're a chef, whether you sell DVDs, whether you sell jewelry, whether you sell books, if we could get all these folk together and bring them in a room where the vendors were guaranteed and knew that the quality of people that were going to come was going to spend at least $50 each person. Do you know what that would do? And when the success of that 90,000 hit the grapevine in the street, we get another 90,000, and then another 90,000. Because there's one thing black folk know. Black folk know success because they've seen failure throughout their experience. Not their failure, but the failure of the society to recognize them as a human being. And that's what Malcolm fought for. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as his father, told his son, this is what you go out and you tell our people. You give them that clean glass of water. Show them how to do it. Don't tell them how to do it. And Malcolm was a fine example. His 8th grade teacher told him, when he said he wanted to be a lawyer, he said, cut it out. You're a nigger. That don't make sense for a nigga to want to be a lawyer, but you know Malcolm grew to be the greatest lawyer that ever lived because he defended us. He was our intellectual, social lawyer. He grew to be the greatest defender of his people. And for that, we should always love him. Brothers and sisters, we're going to take a little break. And we're going to come back, and then we're going to get this.